Hello and welcome to Stress Less with me, Jess. Today, my special guest is Erin Marcus. Hello, Erin.
Hello, Jess. I've never heard you say it that way. Oh my God, I love it. Stress less with Jess. Done. I'm in.
Done.
Sign me up.
Now you can't forget it. Now I'm always going to be in your head, you know?
It's fantastic.
Well, let's tell everybody why you're so amazing. So you're the founder and CEO of the Conquer Your Business, an international company helping driven entrepreneurs and small business owners get the financial and emotional freedom they need to build their business and life they are proud of. Love that. Was just speaking to my client about that this morning, about finding that proudness within themselves. So that's so
Yes.
important. Love how you wrote that. Having made the successful leap from corporate executive to entrepreneur, Erin uses that experience along with her MBA education, street smart, which is my favorite part about your bio, street smart upbringing to your clients to reach the heights they've never dreamed possible. Also, not only a national speaker, but you also have a podcast called Ready Yet?
Yes, I do. I love the fact that I was a juvenile delinquent is your favorite part of my bio. But okay, me too. Right. What are your marketing differentiators? Well, let me tell you. It's funny you should ask.
And you said in the beginning, before we press record, you were talking about the power of branding. And I just think, boom, that's it right there, Boo.
Right there. Power brand.
Right. So tell us a little bit about how do you went from corporate to being an entrepreneur?
I cried. I tried to pay a coworker $100 to give notice for me. He said no. I did. I said no. And then I walked into my mentor's office, who I'd been with them for 12 years. And when we would have arguments, if I would get teary, he'd get mad. He'd be like, "You can't do that. That's not fair." And I walked in and I sat down. I said, "Listen, I'm going to tell you something and I'm going to cry and you're just going to have to deal with it." And that was how I made that leap. No, it was interesting because I think my story, I don't want to say it's unique, but compared to a lot of people that I talked to, I didn't leave because I was mad. I didn't leave because I hated my job. I had a great job working with people I loved. But as I got older and more involved in the business, it started, the only word I can come up with, and it's kind of weird, it felt contrived. The industry, I was in financial services, the industry as a whole started to feel contrived, where layers upon layers upon layers of complexity being created, to serve the client, but just so that someone else can make a nickel off of someone else's dime. And like the whole weirdness coming from a blue collar juvenile delinquent upbringing, and then being so immersed in white collar corporate, where so much felt to me like it was happening just to create work, even though I was working with amazing people on amazing projects. So, and I don't know if maybe that was age giving me a different perspective. And then I was also bored, which is strange because who leaves, 35 hours a week, multiple six figures because you're bored. But as the business got bigger, my role became smaller and more customized, which wasn't enough to keep me and my lack of attention span and drive for new information constantly interested. And so when you put that all together, plus, as my mentor then reinforced, I was old enough to have a lot of experience to draw on, but still young enough to have the energy to do something about it. Right. So from a timing perspective, like a lot of these things just aligned and I made the leap.
What I think is kind of what you said about what makes your story interesting. Like you said, a lot of times when it's burnout, it's stress, it's my family, and not discrediting that. But I think what I like about your story is that you meet a certain kind of population that I think most feel unheard, in the sense that there's nothing wrong, but they want to leave. And that could be in a relationship, that could be with your job, that could be with so many different other things. And you're just saying it could be because I'm bored, because I want something else, because right? It could be because so many different things. And I think a lot of times when we tell ourselves we want to leave a situation, we have to find a reason why. And I think what you're saying is that it could just because you want to.
Because you want more. And I will also tell you, because so I started out with a franchise and I ended up being a trainer for that franchise system. And now I do business coaching and consulting. So if you look at 15 years of experience watching people try to launch and grow businesses, I will absolutely tell you, and personally, I think it's the same in any relationship. If you are doing what you're doing to avoid pain because you're mad, because there's a chip on your shoulder, or any other negative, you are going to have a much harder time creating your new thing than if you go to do what you're doing because you're pulled for more, pulled forward to want more. Like people who grow their businesses, and this is what I tell people about in the entrepreneur world. If you do sales, if your whole approach to getting new clients, client acquisition, is to alleviate the pain of not having any money, you're going to have a problem, because as soon as you get out of that pain threshold, you'll stop. Same thing, however, opposite, if you're being drawn forward to create something, you'll just keep going. And it's the same thing in our personal relationships. You want to know why people do the same pattern over and over and over and over and over again? Because they never changed what they wanted. They just stopped something once it got too horrible to have. But they never actually changed what they wanted. They never paid attention to what they were doing and trying to create. They only did enough to alleviate the pain.
Wow. I think that, again, it goes into so many things, from business entrepreneur to corporate world to relationships to yourself. And you said something that stuck out to me then was not paying attention. And we don't pay attention to our own wants and needs enough. And because it could be selfish, could be whatever the case may be, we're busy. It could be, we have to do all these other things. I have to be a mom. I have to be a dad. I have to.
Well, then we're too close to it. We're just too close. We don't know that that's what's causing it. Like, I want to say one of the things that was the absolute humongous contributor to my success, and also one of the hardest things to learn, was how to become an observer of your own behavior, so that you're not just reacting to everything, but doing that with a level of willingness, horrifying willingness to learn what the truth is, because that's not fun. Tell you that firsthand, right? That's not fun, to find all of your triggers and all of your faults and revisit all of your pain points in order to move past them. Like, this is not a good time necessarily. The process is messy, but you can't stop the pattern. You can't stop the fact that you're doing things to avoid pain. You can't stop any of those things without a higher level of introspection.
I was interviewing another woman, different story, but very similar in the sense of the outcome of what you're speaking about, in the sense that all these things are falling apart in her life. And her breakdown moment was, well, why is all this happening to me? And so she's like, I'm going to pick up a podcast and pick up a book. And she goes,
oh, it's because of me.
It's me. It's because
right?
of me. Right. And it's so easy to kind of go, oh, it's their fault. It's corporate's fault. It's my husband's fault. It's this fault. But what you're saying is, all right, take it in. Not easy. Easier said than done, but like, learn what you want to grow on.
Well, and don't confuse the need for external change and, right, like, saying that I am personally responsible for everything I create in my life does not negate the fact that we need to be anti-racist, that we need to be anti-discriminatory, that we need to have a better economy. Like, all of those things are 100% true. There's room for improvement in all sorts of ways and places, and right, but in institutions. However, I don't have to wait for that change to happen to change my life.
Yeah, taking back the
right?
control.
And it doesn't mean that I look back at other people's corporate situation and say, well, you ran into a glass ceiling because you're a woman and you shouldn't be mad about it. No, you should be really pissed about it. However, don't wait for that glass ceiling problem to go away before you do what you need. Like, it takes generations to affect that level of change. I don't have that kind of time. I don't know about you, but I'm getting older. It's weird.
My body says I am.
My body is telling me every day.
Right? Every day. No, and I think a lot we were saying, I think won't think about the bigger picture things. Sometimes it can be super overwhelming, especially when you watch the news, you have conversations with family, right? And I think like you're saying too, is when you take it back to yourself, it's those one small little changes that start to make the change. And when you start to be, you know, when I'm starting to be nicer to myself, I'm starting to be nicer to other people. I'm starting to, it's all these little small changes. And if we all take those small little changes, that bigger thing is going to happen, but it has to start with ourselves.
Absolutely.
So in
Absolutely.
the sense of business, can you give us a small nutshell of what you do for a living and more about, your
Sure.
business? Yeah.
My big fancy one sentence.
Yes.
And you should be able to do this for all you business owners. What's your sentence? Right? So fancy title, Erin Marcus, founder and CEO of Conquer Your Business, where we create business and branding strategies that build multiple 6 and 7-figure businesses.
Can you, same sentence, explain branding? I think it's another saturated word, and I think it gets lost in when, and you kind of mentioned it, I think offline or off recording, the importance of the power of your brand. But I think again, it's really lost and gets really
Well,
confused. So can you just kind of,
my approach is this way. How do you want people to feel? That's it. Your brand starts with how you want people to feel after interacting with you in any way. A lot of people say your brand is what people say about you once you've left the room. Okay, totally true. But how do you want them to feel? So using my brand as an example, my baseline, which is, reinforced by the conversation we've had so far, my baseline is I want people to feel empowered. Because my whole approach to life, not just my business, but my relationships, my health, my finances, is if you're not in charge of you and make decisions for yourself, people who are not vested in you get to make those decisions for you. Doesn't make them wrong or bad. The lawyers, the doctors, the state, the government, right? They will make those decisions for you if you don't make them for yourself. So my whole approach to my brand is about empowerment, because I believe change happens at the bottom up, like we were saying, not the top down. And I want to help people feel more in control of their own world. And so my brand is Conquer Your Business, right? It's very direct. My tagline is be in charge, take action, get results. My programs are very results oriented. My personal persona, it is what it is. We're just calling it out, right? It is what it is. If you want somebody to hold your hand, pat you on the back, and tell you everything's going to be all right, you're not going to come to me. That's not how I can best serve you. There are amazing people out there that are a safe place to fall. They're fantastic. I have them in my world, but I'm the person to motivate you and show you what's possible and how to get there and hold you accountable, right? So that's all my colors are red and black. The logo is very bold. So all of that goes into my messaging is very direct. It all goes into your brand. My programs are, I'm not the low-cost leader of coaching, right? So your pricing is part of your brand. Your pricing is part of your brand. There's no wrong answer, by the way. You get to pick. Walmart is a bigger company than Bloomingdale's. So there's zero problems with being the low-cost leader and having a volume-based business, but go and doing that on purpose. Going back to my brand is completely non-judgmental. Create whatever it is that you want, but do it because you're in charge of it and decided it, not because you settled for it because you don't know what you're doing or think that's all you can have.
how do you feel? Sorry, you got me thinking.
Yeah.
How do you feel? Have you heard, or can you give examples of when your clients have said this coaching has taken over in their mindset with their personal life? So like the assertiveness, the empower.
And that's what I want. That's what that's what I want for people. One of the ways I describe what I do is I work at the intersection where what you need to do meets who you need to be to do it. Because the plan doesn't matter if you can't do the plan. I absolutely work in mindset. I don't lead with mindset. I lead with business strategy, branding, messaging, marketing, scaling strategy. And then we have conversations about who you need to be and what you need to do in order to do the things you said you want. And part of that goes back, well, part of it goes back to the, you know, the city kid lunatic upbringing that I chose, not that I was immersed. It wasn't all put upon me. Part of it was my choices at the time being what they were. But also when I was in corporate, I was lucky enough to have a mentor who took me to meetings and brought me into rooms that were way above my pay grade. And the thing that I learned being immersed in that business was the difference between people who have and don't have is access to information. It's access to information, because if you think about financial services, if you think about real estate, there's realtors and financial planners clamoring all over the high ticket clients. Nobody's clamoring all over entry level clients, because the financial planner, for example, won't make enough money doing that. So lower income socioeconomic groups don't realize that they have access to some of these tools because no one's out there teaching it to them.
Yeah, 100%.
Right. And it just is. It's, again, not wrong or bad. There are people who do serve those clients, absolutely. But so this idea of be in charge, this whole idea of who do you need to be, that's where Ready Yet. The name of my podcast is called Ready Yet. You'll never do what it takes until you become the person it takes to do it. So I don't consider myself a life coach, but what's that saying? How you do one thing is how you do everything. If I can help get you out of your way to grow your business, those are now skills that you have, and you're going to bring them to other parts of your life.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what I wanted to highlight, right? Because when you do what you do, it's going to hit every other sector in their life. And I think
Not.
there's no way it doesn't, right? It's, again, going back to that mindset, there's that accountability, there's empowerment, all these words that we want in our life. So for that entrepreneur, business owner, person that's ready to take that leap, and they're going, okay, I need Erin.
Just tell me how to do this.
What is the best way for them to contact you?
Make it really easy. Everything you need is at conqueryourbusiness.com. You just go to one place. You can contact me. You can grab all my socials. You can see our podcast. You can get our resources. It's all in one place at conqueryourbusiness.com.
And because this is a stress less podcast, my question for you is, do you feel it's stressful to get ready for that jump, to get ready for that next level?
Oh, yeah. It is stressful. One of my friends teases me and he says, you like it out there on the thin branches, don't you? This is how you know it's stressful. How many people have you met that went, oh my God, I want to start a business. Oh my God, I want to write a book. Oh my God, whatever your thing is, you meet people, like as soon as you say it, there's so many people who, oh, I always thought about, and yet they never do it. If it was easy, everyone would just do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And right. And that's also why I have all the empathy in the world for the people who have challenges, don't be able, because you're up against neuroscience, you're up against subconscious programming. I mean, your brain is working against you in most cases. So I get it. But that goes back to the brand. Do you want to settle for what your brain is saving you for, or do you want to go kind of do things on your terms?
And it's also like, nothing comes easy. The abs don't come easy. The diet doesn't come easy. The saving for money doesn't come easy. Like nothing comes but it's kind of like that accomplishment that when you meet it to the next side. And I think like you're saying too, is that there's a lot of things against us, whether it's finances, maybe not family support, your own brain telling you that you can't do something, oh, you only got 6 legs. That means you're not doing well. Like all these things that are against us, but it's finding that empowerment, that assertiveness, that mindset to keep going. Because like you're saying, if it was easy, everybody would be winning the Super Bowl. Everybody would be a Olympic star. Everybody would have the next Amazon, but it's not.
To your point, one of the things that you're doing that you might not realize it is everything you listed that's not easy. It's not marketing. It's not sales. That's not easy. It's not team building. That's not easy. It's not graphic design. That's not easy. Those things are all easy. And those are all easy because you could hire somebody to do it. You can buy that. There's brilliant, amazing people out there who would be happy to help you do all of those things. The hard work is the internal work.
Oh, yeah.
you can't outsource it.
And it's going back to that first thing you said too, is that I would have to take that accountability to see the quote unquote negative, bad flaws, things that I don't want to see or other people see about me. Right.
Totally.
Before we get into the lightning round.
Okay.
What is the one thing you want the listeners to take away from today's episode?
That it's possible. It's so possible. My success isn't because of me, that I'm different. My success is because I've been willing to do the work, be persistent, and be resilient.
Yeah.
Right? My success isn't because I was any better, special, or different than anyone else. It was because I stuck with it and do what I need to do, which means it's possible.
Yeah. No, I love that. It's simple, it's true, it's facts, and you're living it. All right, Erin, let's get right into the lightning round. Are you ready?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. What were you afraid of as a child?
The dark. Still am. Don't like it.
Is your bed made right now?
Yes.
What is your go-to lazy dinner?
Popcorn and ice cream. Is that dinner? Popcorn and ice cream.
Dinner. First job.
I started babysitting at way too young to be in charge of other people's infants. I want to say it was 7th grade. So at 12 years old, I had a standing baby. I'm older than you are. Okay. This is what we used to do. I had a standing babysit job for one family on Tuesdays and Thursdays so she could go to work, and a different family on Fridays and Saturdays. So I literally babysat 4 times a week when I was 12.
What is your favorite breakfast?
I like dinner for breakfast.
Yes. Are you a morning or an evening person?
I used to be a night owl, and now I'm a morning person. I think that's a mixture of owning my own business and getting older. I used to be miserable morning person, and now I'm in bed at 8 o'clock. It is what it is.
Do you prefer flying or driving?
I love road trips, but if I'm going on vacation, I want to get there and I'll fly. They're different. To me, they have nothing to do with each other. Those are two complete, like those things don't go together. The driving is to do the road trip and flying is to get to where I want to be.
Erin, yeah. I have not laughed this much in a long time. I appreciate you so much. I'm so excited for people to hear this episode.
I can't help if I'm weird. It is what it is.
Unique. It's awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.